the word diabetes, what do you think about? What comes to mind?
Really, a disease. Just a disease that's taken over, really.
Can I ask you to speak up just a little bit so we can make sure that we...
Okay, just a disease, one that's taken over, affecting a lot of people, young and old.
Okay. What's your experience with diabetes?
My grandmother and my dad have diabetes.
Oh.
So yes, I have experienced it hands-on.
So what? Tell me about your dad. Did you just get it, or has he had it for a long time?
He's had it for about a year or two, maybe. But maybe longer. But he found out maybe a year or two ago, and I think it's the type 2, maybe.
Yes.
Not the bad one.
Yeah. Well, they're both.
Dangerous. Yeah.
They both can be.
Yeah. But yeah, he's had it for a minute or whatever, and I guess it hasn't been that bad with him though. But
And what about grandma?
I think she's had it for a minute. My dad takes the shots. I think she maybe takes the needle.
Okay. But your dad's taking insulin injections. Does he have any problems?
Not much. Sometimes he lets his sugar get low, but not much.
Okay. And that's usually the problem if you're taking the insulin, the blood sugar drops low.
Yeah.
Have you ever been around when that happens?
I have.
What's that like?
His eyes gets like low a little bit, and he's kind of weak and kind of tired or whatever, and he knows. So.
Have you ever had to go find something for him to eat right away, or?
He actually, well, when I saw it, he actually did it himself. He just took his insulin. So.
Okay. All right. What do you think causes diabetes?
I guess it can be inherited, poor diet, eating a lot of fat and sugar and stuff like that.
You think that there might be things in the community that cause diabetes?
I would think so. Maybe the fast food restaurants and different stuff like that.
Okay. If a person has diabetes, what kinds of things do you think they need to do to keep it under control?
Have a good diet, exercise, make sure they take their insulin when they're supposed to. Just, I guess, keep up with it.
Okay. When you say good diet, could you tell me a little bit more about what that means? What's that look like?
Staying away from all the sugar, all the fat, too much cholesterol, and just making sure they eat healthy.
Okay. Is that something that is easy for people in the area to do?
Not at all.
How come?
Not at all. With the many fast food restaurants, and especially now getting to McDonald's, it's easier to just go out and get the fast food. It's quick, and so I don't have to cook. So there it is. And I think people opt more for that because it's quick and easy. And so
you have a McDonald's here in Macon? Where's that at? Out on the main?
It's on the highway.
On the highway. That's what I thought. Do you go there?
Sometimes.
So how often do you go?
This week I've only been once.
Okay, is that a usual week or?
Not really.
It's only Friday.
Yeah.
You go on the weekends usually, or?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I
And you
don't
go
really
for?
like McDonald's.
Oh, you don't like it that much?
Not that much. I'll eat there.
Well, I will take that out. They only want good advertising.
Yeah.
Do you eat out at other fast food places?
I do.
What's your favorite?
Maybe Zaxby's.
Where?
Zaxby's.
Okay.
It's like a wing place.
The wings. All right. So that's what you get when you go there. And do other young people your age, do they go there too?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And would you say that young people eat out more than older people, or?
Oh yes, I would think so. I guess as far as young people, especially young people, the McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King is like a friend. So, you know, parents take them there all the time. College students, takeout is way more easier. And then you don't have time to cook, or, you know, even stay in a dorm late nights, eating out and stuff like that. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the problems that I'm told is that Mississippi has been called the fattest state, right? And I don't know where this county is, but it might be one of the worst counties. Would you think that's true? Or?
I would think so.
Really? So when you think about your friends or people that you know, do you see obesity as a common problem?
I'm not sure if it's obesity. I wouldn't be correct on that, but I'm not sure if it's obesity, but I do see a lot of overweight people, and, you know, I've seen a lot of diabetics in Macon.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm.
Young people or?
More older people.
Okay, and so maybe I need to clarify what's younger and what's older. What's the cutoff line when you become older?
Maybe, okay, not just old, but you know, I've seen a lot of people in 40s, 50s, and stuff like that.
Okay.
With it.
Okay, but not so many people in their 20s or 30s.
No, not really.
Okay, so none of your friends have diabetes that you know. If a person has diabetes, what are the things that a family member can do to provide support?
Make sure they're if they're on the pill or taking insulin, make sure that they take their insulin, make sure that they have that diet that they need, make sure they're exercising. They can always say something, encourage them to do something, motivate them to do something in some kind of way to help.
And how do you motivate your dad?
I get on my dad. If I see him trying to eat some chocolate cake or a whole pan of pecan pie, it's just, okay, Dad, don't fall out in a minute. And so he knows, you know, exactly what we're trying to say. So it's just like, okay, I won't, you know. And so we say it in a joking way, but, you know, he knows that we're trying to make sure that we're looking out for him.
So he knows it's because you care. Okay. Do you think that there's things that, for instance, his friends or neighbors or maybe people he works with can do to help support him?
Yeah. Where he works, there are like a close group of guys that he talks to or whatever, and he takes like his bag or whatever with him, and some of them, especially like his close friend, make sure he takes his insulin or whatever, that he doesn't forget, because he still has to take it at work. But
so he takes it more than once a day.
I think it's twice maybe.
Okay, and it sounds like he takes his lunch. He takes his lunch with him to work. Does he pack it himself, or is mom doing it?
Well, I've been doing it for a while.
Oh, you have?
But,
okay.
My mom does it. She's been doing it lately.
Okay. And what kinds of things do you pack in his lunch?
Maybe like a sandwich. He'll have like a banana or something like that, and or water.
Okay. No fried food.
No, not really.
Okay. Do you think your mom has changed the way she cooks since your dad's been told he had diabetes?
She has to, yeah. She's cut back on the salts and the sugars and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Would you say she's changed the way she ate?
A little bit.
Okay. Not totally, though.
Not totally.
You see her kind of having some other things.
If she doesn't cook it with salt, or if it needs sugar or something, her plate will have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you changed the way you...
Not really.
Okay. Do you think that there are things that can be done in the neighborhood or the county to help prevent diabetes?
I do. You see a lot of people talking about eating healthy and stuff like that. They can advertise it and do different programs or something like that to let people know about eating healthy and exercising to prevent diabetes or whatever.
Yes.
And just different stuff like that.
What do you think the most important thing is that we can do?
I guess just reaching out to people, giving them information, letting them know about diabetes and how it's controlled.
Okay, so getting information to people is challenging sometimes. So it might be different if we're talking about young people versus older people, right? So if I wanted to reach people your age, what would I need to do?
Well, I'm in college, so a lot of times people will pass out flyers and stuff like that to let you know about different things, whether it's diseases, programs, sex, whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and that gets to a lot of people.
So college students would read a flyer or something?
If it's an attention grabber.
Okay.
So some people may see flyer, may not look so, and they may throw it in the trash.
Right.
But if like something grabs their attention, then they may stop and look at it.
All right. So as a college student, what would grab your attention? What kind of thing would make something interesting to you?
Maybe a bold statement or a large graphic. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. So something more than just a print.
Yeah.
Something with some pictures or...
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, now what about some older people? Maybe your parents' age.
I think the flyer thing would still work. And I think older people tend to read more. Mm-hmm. So, and whether or not the paper has graphics or a bold statement or whatever, I think they would probably still read it. Mm-hmm. Maybe advertising.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Billboard or something.
What about word of mouth? You think word of mouth is important?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. News travel quickly. So.
Or texting. If you had, if you got a health message on here, you have an iPhone? Or?
An iPhone. No.
All right. You have a. Suppose you got a message that either every day or once a week that gave you a health tip. Would you think you might pay attention to that?
I would.
What about your friends? Do you think that they might?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, more so than the flyer, you think, or about the same?
Maybe more.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because today texting is it?
Yeah.
In.
Yeah. So people want to do that. All right. And what about folks your grandmother's age? Right, older people, really older people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, the texting may not do too well. Not too many older people
right.
have texting.
Yeah.
But like you said, the word of mouth and maybe the flyers or something. I think that'll be good.
Okay. Do you think there's things that your college could do to help promote health?
Oh yes. The health centers do a lot on just on abroad, just a lot of stuff. So just including diabetes, I don't think it would be a problem.
And where do you go to college at?
Mississippi State.
Oh. And what year are you in?
I'll be starting my 3rd year.
Good for you. And you're studying?
Kinesiology.
Oh, terrific. Terrific. So when you graduate, Are you looking to go someplace else, or you want to come back here to this county?
No, I'm gonna try to get into PT school.
Uh-huh. So you want to be a physical therapist? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, so tell me what you think the most important thing is that people need to know about diabetes.
That it can be dangerous, and you really need to stay healthy to try not to contract it.
Okay. And one last question I wanted to ask. If we want to work with people who are overweight or obese, what do you think the best way is to approach them? People get sensitive about their weight.
I understand that. I guess it could just be because people are sensitive, so I'm trying to see make it more of a public thing, not just I'm gonna go straight to her, because people may get offensive, and just make it a public thing.
Okay, so more like a public announcement as opposed to singling people out. What would it take to, you're already kind of looking to studying the health field, in the health field. So how do you see that you might, in your future work, be able to talk about diabetes and diabetes prevention?
I guess, like you said, with the flyers and stuff like that, just working, I guess, in a health facility, it can be there for people to just take, just letting them get the information.
What about if you were going to have a conversation?
Oh, yes. Just, like you said, word of mouth, letting people know by mouth.
Okay, I think that's all the questions I have. Is there anything else that you want to share, or that you think is important for us to think about being healthy? Particular people in this area.
I don't see a lot of people exercising, and I know that it can get hard, because when I went to college, I gained a couple pounds, and but before, I was an athlete or whatever, so I was always out about exercising. But once I got to college, I didn't play sports anymore or whatever, so it was harder to try to go to the gym or whatever. And even here, you have the track, you have a gym or whatever, but people won't really use it.
Okay.
And it's just get out there, exercise, do something, try to stay active and stuff like that. So.
How do you have any ideas about how to get people to come out and use these?
Again, advertising, word of mouth.
What would get you there?
To the gym.
To the track, yeah. Would you go by yourself, or would you rather have someone else be there?
Both. I would go by myself, but I think a lot of times it makes it, I don't want to say fun, but easier, I guess, just to have somebody there with you, so they can motivate you and stuff like that. Because I always used to go with my friend, and it was like, okay, we have one more lap. Wait, I'm tired. She's like, no, come on, let's go. So sometimes it's better to have a friend.
I agree.